From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
I'm Casey Conlon outside a new local pharmacy on the West End that's on the front lines of COVID-19 testing, but actually has much bigger plans for the future. We'll tell you about it coming up.
And take a look outside for the first time in 198 hours. Today, Billings temperatures shifted from minus to positive as the Montana thaw begins. And local healthcare workers are busy with last-minute details as they prepare to open the first centralized COVID-19 vaccination site since the pandemic began. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your Monday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, come tomorrow, hundreds of Yellowstone County residents will converge on Metro Park in assigned and orderly fashion to begin the process to protect themselves from COVID-19. In a combined effort, Billings Clinic, St. Vincent Healthcare, and Riverstone Health will administer first doses of vaccine to people in groups 1A and 1B. QT's Mitch Laggy took a tour of the facility today to show us what to expect.
The Yellowstone County Unified Health Command is preparing to stand up its first centralized COVID-19 vaccination site that has a max capacity to vaccinate 850 people each day. The location, Cedar Hall on the Metro Park campus, right next to the 4-H building. On Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week, 37 healthcare workers will administer a total of 2,250 first doses of COVID-19 vaccine. The goal with this site is in the coming weeks, Billings Clinic, St. Vincent Healthcare, and Riverstone Health will centralize their vaccine efforts here.
The biggest advantage for the community is having one telephone number to call if you don't have internet access, and the other one is one link to be able to schedule your appointment on the internet, instead of having 3 different locations to go to.
People can easily park right in front of Cedar Hall on the Metro Park campus. They're asked to not enter the building until 5 minutes before their appointment to cut down on the number of people inside at a time. And while inside, people will be required to wear a mask. After you get registered to have your vaccine, you'll be shown to one of these seats. Then a nurse will prick your arm, where they will then monitor you for 15 to 30 minutes for allergic reactions. Also during that time, they'll schedule you for an appointment for your second dose. That appointment is very important not to miss. Second doses of vaccine are automatically allocated by the state. So if you miss your second appointment, it could be a long time before your name comes up again.
We'll have a list that we'll keep, but boy, it might be 2 months, it might be a month, it might be 6 months until we can get you that second dose if you cannot show up for that second dose appointment.
Neal said it's likely that people receiving a vaccination at the Cedar Hall Clinic will have their second dose at a different location in Billings. As vaccine becomes more available, the Cedar Hall Clinic can move through a maximum of 8,400 appointments per week. In Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Mitch. Now here's how you can secure a vaccine appointment at Cedar Hall. Appointments can be made online by visiting mtreadyclinic.org. As of tonight, Tuesday is all booked up, but there are still appointments available for Wednesday morning and throughout the day on Thursday. Appointments for future weeks can also be scheduled over the phone by calling the number listed there on your screen. You can also head to ktvq.com for that number. The clinic will be open on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays each week. And if you are currently waiting to get your second dose of vaccine, public health staff ask that you get your second dose at the same location you got your first. Well, as vaccinations ramp up, Montana's confirmed COVID numbers continue to trend in the right direction. However, health authorities across the state did report 2 new deaths today, along with 177 new cases. One of those deaths right here in Yellowstone County, the other in Park County. 231 Yellowstone County residents have passed away from COVID-19 related illnesses, while the state has lost more than 1,300. Nearly 94,000 Montanans have recovered from the virus. And another sign of hope, as nearly 5% of Montanans have been fully vaccinated since the vaccine first arrived in mid-December. MTN's John Riley takes a closer look at the state's efforts and how Montana stacks up against the rest of the country.
180,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine have been administered in Montana as of Monday, with more than 52,000 people in the state now fully vaccinated. Although a big rural state, by comparison, Montana is performing better than most states for vaccination efforts. As of February 14th, 4.9% of Montanans have been fully vaccinated, with the state ranking 16th among all states for full vaccination. Neighboring states of North and South Dakota have a larger percent of their population vaccinated at 6.2% and 5.7%, and are currently ranked 3rd and 5th for vaccination by population. Idaho is ranked 48th in the nation for full vaccinated population at just 3.2%. The CDC hasn't released what percentage of the population needs to be vaccinated to reach herd immunity, but Dr. Anthony Fauci has estimated it at around 70 to 85%. According to state and local officials, the biggest challenge for Montana's performance right now is the state's federal vaccine allocation.
Despite the great progress we're making, we aren't receiving adequate doses from the federal government. Unfortunately, Montana continues to receive one of the lowest allotments of doses per capita in the country.
Montana ranks 45th among states in terms of vaccines allocated per capita by the federal government. The state first began releasing COVID vaccination data on January 19th. The total number of doses given has slowly increased over the past month, sitting at around 40,000 doses administered over the past week. State and local healthcare experts say Montana could realistically be administering at least twice to 3 times the number of doses were they available. Governor Gianforte has called upon President Biden multiple times to increase the number of doses the state receives each week. However, just about every other governor in the nation is making similar requests. Johnson & Johnson has asked the FDA for emergency use authorization of their single-shot vaccine and is expected to receive approval by the end of February. While the single shot will greatly increase the number of individuals vaccinated, data from the company has indicated it's 66% effective, notably less than that of the Moderna and Pfizer 2-dose vaccines. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
Thanks, John. Now, here in Yellowstone County, more than 30,000 doses have been administered and more than 10,000 people are fully immunized. Well, now turning to Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh. The bitterly cold temperatures are heading out, but this new weather could present some of its own dangers.
That's right. We're getting back to more of what we think of as wintry weather. Check it out across eastern Montana. Still some wind chill concerns in the easternmost counties off towards the Dakotas, 20 to 40 below first thing tomorrow. But all those blue shaded areas, especially in central and western Montana, which is going to include around the Red Lodge foothills, Harleton, Big Timber, over towards Livingston. We're looking at winter weather advisories, which means travel concerns. Snow there in areas of blowing snow. Avalanche danger has greatly increased into a lot of the higher elevations. Keep that in mind into the backcountry. And ice jams will also be increasing as we're seeing some of the melting happening on later into the week. Plus that poor visibility and drifts and blowing snow. Special travel concerns west of Billings into the mountain foothills. A look at the forecast coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, new details tonight surrounding what led to a deadly avalanche near Big Sky that claimed the life of a Bozeman school principal. The slide in Beehive Basin took the life of Whittier Elementary School principal Craig Kitto. Kitto and a friend were on split boards when the avalanche broke. The snow slide carried him about 100 yards where he hit a tree and was partially buried. Kitto was flown to Bozeman Health where he later died of those injuries. The Gallatin National Forest Avalanche Center is investigating this site. Now, 2 snow slides near Cook City over the weekend, triggered by snowmobilers, are prompting a big warning. Experts with the Gallatin National Forest Avalanche Center say the slides were small but big enough to tumble a rider off a machine. Luckily, no one was hurt. But now experts are looking ahead to changes in the weather, taking into account 2 main factors: recent winds drifting over snowfall, adding stress to snowpack, and a thin layer of snow making existing snowpack weak. So here's what they said to do.
With new snow coming this week, that will increase the avalanche danger. And we at the Avalanche Center in no way are saying stay at home, don't go outside and play. What we are saying is understand where you are relative to that terrain. Always have your rescue gear, so your avalanche beacon, shovel, and probe. Keep your eyes and ears open. Look for signs of instability. Those are your clues to stay off of steep slopes. And then finally, we want to put people to never expose more than 1 person at a time to steep terrain.
Experts say this year's weather patterns have presented weak layers of snow, meaning now is the time for folks to ride a bit more conservatively. Well, 2 items of interest from February's oil and gas report from the nearby Bakken oil fields. First, a new milestone in the fight against flaring. From November through December of 2020, 94% of the natural gas produced from Bakken wells was captured. Now, that means only 6% had to be flared, which exceeds the goal set by the North Dakota Industrial Commission. Now, compare November's 6% flared to the state's historical high set in 2011 when 36% was flared into the atmosphere. North Dakota Mineral Resources Director Lynn Helms credits the industry for its work to bring the entire state into compliance. He credits the huge reduction in flaring to new pipelines that transport the natural gas. And speaking of pipelines, keep an eye on April 9th. That's the newest court date in the legal fight over the Dakota Access Pipeline. The judge overseeing the case is allowing DAPL to continue operating while the legal fight over its federal permit plays out in court. Now the judge granted the Biden administration a 60-day extension to review the case. DAPL hauls up to 575,000 barrels of North Dakota crude every day. Now, state officials say shutting it down could cost the North Dakota Treasury as much as $500,000 a day in lost taxes. Up next on tonight's MTN 530 News on Q2, Billings Pharmacy is not only providing help in the present, but hope for the future. We'll explain in tonight's Rebound Report.
Hi everybody, Scott Breen at Herb Clint Field, and a renewed energy up here at Rocky Mountain College, talking football just ahead in sports.